Good evening, and welcome to Health Talk. Health Talk is a part of He Cares Training and Education Center, where yours truly, Dr. Corbett, is the program director, and Dr. Deidre Willis is our project manager. We're grateful that you decided to take a few moments to join us here on Health Talk. Health Talk is a podcast where we provide you with health education, health information, all things pertaining to health. We even have guests occasionally come on and we discuss specific topics. Today, though, we're going to be talking about a topic that is pretty much familiar or have been discussed worldwide, but not too much has been talked about or discussed regarding the impact that this topic has on your health, and that is climate change. We know that climate change and the impact that it has upon the earth or the world as a whole, but we're going to focus in today in this particular podcast of how climate change has an impact on your health and your well-being. Yes, climate change and the effects that it has upon your health. So it doesn't just have an impact on the earth or the creatures in the earth, but it also has an impact upon you and I as being human beings and upon our health. So that is what we're going to be discussing today. So you want to stick around until the very end. I'm sure you're going to find the information in this here to be very valuable to you, very informative. So stick around, hang around to the end, okay? All right, so let's get started. Like I said, we're going to be talking about climate change, which is something that everybody knows about, but we're going to talk about how climate change impacts your health, the silent emergency. How does this change? How does climate change impact us? How does climate change affect us? And that's where we're heading to discuss. All right, give me just a moment here, and we're going to get this thing going for you. All right. So, climate change and health, the silent emergency. Now, what if I told you that the air you're breathing, the water you're drinking, and even the food on your plate could be putting your health at risk? All because of something you can't even see. That's the hidden link between climate change and your health. And if you think this is just about polar bears and ice caps and earthquakes and tsunamis and things of that nature, then you might be in for a wake-up call. This is personal. It's about you, your family, and your future. So stick with me for the next few minutes, and you'll see why climate change isn't just an environmental crisis. It is a health emergency knocking at your door. First thing we want to talk about is air pollution and respiratory health. Now, rising temperatures and pollution from industries, vehicles, and even wildfires, they're creating a toxic cocktail. Tiny particles, way too small to be seen with the natural eye, are slowly slipping into our lungs and even into our bloodstream. Yeah. Yes. So that's the air pollution and respiratory health. The cases of asthma, individuals suffering from asthma, is skyrocketing. Lung infections, people getting lung infections, that's getting worse. Even heart disease has been linked to poor air quality. And here's the kicker. You don't have to live near a factory to be affected. These pollutants travel thousands of miles, meaning no one is really truly safe. So air pollution and your respiratory health is affecting your health in ways right now you may not even see it and you may not even feel it at the very moment. But as I said, those tiny particles, those microscopic particles that cannot be seen with the natural eye, are slowly, when we breathe in the pollutants around us, slowly enter into our lungs and even getting into our bloodstream, causing respiratory issues, and not only respiratory issues, but causing heart issues as well. So as it says, these particles can travel for thousands of miles. You don't have to be near a factory or anything like that there. But so no one is really safe. Now we're going to talk about infectious disease on the move. Now here's something you might not expect. Climate change is moving diseases into new neighborhoods. Warmer temperatures create the perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes carrying diseases like malaria, dengue, and Zika. Flooding from extreme storms contaminates drinking water, spreading cholera and other deadly infection. And those are some disease that was once existed only in tropical regions are now creeping into places they've never been before. So if you thought climate change was just a future problem, then we need to think that again. We need to think that over, because the illness is fueling are already here. The recent storms causing flooding, the flooding bringing contaminated water, making breeding grounds for mosquitoes. These mosquitoes, carry various type of diseases such as the Zika virus, malaria, dengue, and also diseases that we only thought that was in tropical areas are now finding their way into our region of the world simply because of climate change. So the impact that climate change has on our health is something that we really need to step back, think about it, and take a look at the bigger picture. So infectious diseases are on the move. Also, I want to talk about food security and nutrition. So what about the food on your table? What impact or what effect does climate change has on that? Well, climate change is turning up the heat on farmers, literally. There are more droughts, floods, and extreme weather events are making it harder to grow crops. And what this means is that food shortages in vulnerable areas because of the drought, because of the flooding, it also leads to things such as rising food prices everywhere, nutrient loss. Even the foods we can grow are becoming less nutrients because of climate change. And so that burger or that salad or that bowl of rice is not just food, it's part of the climate story. So you got droughts where the farmers are not able to grow crops, and the crops that they do grow, they're not as nutrient rich as they were before. You got some crops that are even sitting out there just drying up cornfields and things of that nature. So climate change is having an effect on our food security and our nutrition. And when we don't have enough nutrition, it affects our health, it affects our body in numerous ways. Another area that people rarely discuss or barely think about is how climate change impacts us mentally. Yeah, a topic that not too many people discuss or talk about when it comes to climate change. So let's not forget that mental health, which is part of our health and well-being, mental health is part of our health and well-being, is also impacted by climate change. Imagine losing your home to a wildfire, or watching your community flood again and again. You get one flood, you start rebuilding, here come another flood. Imagine the impact that these climate disasters, how the scars that they leave behind, not just on the landscape, but on our mind. Some people are even developing PTSD from having to deal with climate change's catastrophes back to back to back. So mental health is also being impacted by climate changes. They become anxious or develop anxiety about the future. You know, I built my home one time, lost it through a flood, and now here comes another flood. So anxiety about the future. Am I going to build again? Or do I need to move away to another region? But I've been living in this region, in this area for years and years, but do I need to move away? Also PTSD, as I said, for surviving disaster. Every time they hear about a storm coming, it stirs up that anxiety. It brings up that PTSD. And also what we call eco-anxiety. It's especially among young people. It is it's real, and it's arising challenging. Climate change doesn't just break building, it breaks hearts and it breaks mind. So mental health and the impact from climate change is something that we really need to take a moment and focus on, because a lot of people, we're so focused on rebuilding communities, rebuilding homes, but we fail to stop and think about the mental aspect of what an individual goes through when there's things such as that, disasters such as wildfires or the homes flooding or tornadoes or tsunamis or things like that nature. We don't too much stop to think about the mental health aspect of that situation and how it's going to affect people down the road or affect them at the time of the incident occurring. So that's something we really want to pay attention to and we want to focus on. So here's the truth. Climate change and health are two sides of the same coin. When we fight climate change, we're not just saving rainforests or polar bears. We're protecting our lungs, our food, and our mental health along with our future. This fight is personal. It's about your kids, your parents, your friends, and yes, it's even about you. Okay, so let's think about that when we think about climate change. Let's not just think about the environment or endangered species or things like that. That we need to think about our health and our well-being as it is related to climate change. All right, and you can start right now, right there with us. Yeah. So, like this video if you learned something today. It helps more people find this message. And also, leave us a comment. Dr. Willis and I would love to hear your thoughts regarding climate change and health. Maybe you have a story yourself you want to share with the listening and viewing audience. Maybe you want to share something that how you've been impacted, how your health has been impacted by climate change. Go ahead, leave us a brief message, a comment. We'll love to hear from you. All right. Also, and most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. It doesn't cost you nothing. No hidden fees, no tricks, nothing like that. It helps us to bring you powerful contents like this. All right. Together we can turn awareness into action, because a healthier planet means healthier people. And that's a future worth fighting for. Thank you again so much for watching us. And we will see you in the next video. All right. All right. Thank you. All right, my friends. Thank you so much for taking your time to join us here on Health Talk. We hope that this little brief podcast provided you with some valuable information and brought awareness to you as it relates to climate change and your health. Again, as we said, climate change not only has an impact on the earth as a whole, but climate change has an impact on you and I when it comes to our health, when it comes to our foods. So everything is affected by climate change. I know a lot of people, some people doesn't believe or feel that climate change is a real thing, or that climate change has any type of impact or effect on anything. But climate change does have an effect on the environment, and not only on the environment, but climate change has an effect on our health and our well-being. So that's something we need to think about, and we need to look at trying to make things better when it comes to climate change. All right. Again, thank you for taking your time to join us here on Health Talk. As I said, Health Talk is a part of He Cares Training and Education Center, where yours truly, Dr. Corbett, is the program director, and Dr. Deidre Willis is our project manager. We thank you so much for taking your time. And again, if this podcast has been beneficial to you, or you learned something, please leave us a comment. We really would love to hear from you. And we do read each and every one of your comments, and we try our best to give you a response. Also, please take a moment, hit that thumbs up, and give us a thumbs up, a like. And also, we ask that you take a moment, take a few minutes of your time, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and go ahead and hit that bell also, to you get notified when we upload new materials. Okay? Thank you again. And until we meet again on the next podcast, remember, climate change not only affects the environment, but climate change also have an effect on your health. All right? Until our next video, stay healthy, take care of yourself. God bless you, and we love you.